together still. Just a little different.
After what feels like an eternity on the horizon, Moana 2 has finally landed, and while the ocean still calls, it seems like the soundtrack took a little vacation. Yeah, it's far away from that signature Lin-Manuel Miranda magic. Don't get me wrong, some of the songs still have their moments, but let's just say some hit more like a gentle wave than a tidal surge. So today we are ranking the main songs from Moana 2 from best to not so best. So let's dive into it. I'm Connor for SLUURP, and this is every song in Moana 2 ranked from worst to best. Kicking off our list at rock bottom, if you pardon the pun, Can I Get a Chee Hoo? Alright, it's not exactly a controversial take, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Dwayne The Rock Johnson annoys the hell out of me. Yeah, I said it. Well, he's alright if he's the final boss.
What can I say except you're welcome?
But I have to admit it, his main Maui song deserved way better than this mess. The song feels like someone took You're Welcome, sucked everything out of it that made it iconic, and then just slapped on a jazz flute and said, yep, that'll do. Spoiler alert, it didn't. The song was reported to be a last minute replacement for a scrapped number, and boy does it show. According to the creators, they were trying to avoid sounding too cheesy or abstract. Ironically, this song manages to be both, totally missing the Lin-Manuel spark that made You're Welcome an instant classic. Now I'll give credit where credit's due. The Samoan cultural elements, like the Siva Afi, also known as the fire knife dance, and the phrase Chee Hoo, are two elements of Samoan culture that are cleverly incorporated into the visuals. There's no doubt Dwayne Johnson delivered the passion he always does, but his charm doesn't save this one. If anything, this track feels more like a rock bottom than a peak performance. While Can I Get a Chee Hoo had potential to be a showstopper, it ultimately proves that not even Maui can conjure magic out of mediocrity. Let's just say Chee Hoo won't be making it to our Spotify Wrapped. Number 4. What could be better than this? Well, to put it bluntly, this song could be better, to be honest. The track feels like it's trying way too hard to channel Lin-Manuel Miranda's energy and failing miserably. Look, I get it, the sequel needs to have some stylistic connection to the original, but come on. While the soundtrack may not have hit every note, we can't overlook the massive achievement of songwriters Barlow and Bear, the women who made history as the youngest and first all-female songwriting team for Disney animated film. Hailing from London, Abigail Barlow and Emily Bear broke new ground in the music industry, proving that when it comes to Disney, history doesn't get made, it gets rewritten. And that deserves some serious kudos. So while Barlow and Bear have made history as the first all-female songwriting team for Disney, let's be real, Moana 2 didn't exactly need a Miranda knockoff like what could be better than this. The rap sequence in the song is clearly trying to capture Miranda's signature style, but unfortunately it misses the mark. These two have the talent to do their own thing, and that's what we were really hoping for. Sure, the harmonies are decent, but the song itself ends up feeling repetitive and kind of dull with basic rhythms, which could come straight out of a primary school poetry book. That said, I'll throw it a bone. The chorus is annoyingly catchy, and it's the kind of tune that'll wedge itself into your brain whether you like it or not. So while it's not downright awful, it's more like background noise of a soundtrack, tolerable but utterly forgettable. At number 3, Get Lost. Moana 2 introduces its bat-themed minor villain Matangi with a song, Get Lost. And while it does try to channel the energy of Shiny from the first movie, let's be real, it doesn't come close. I mean, Shiny as a song had so much personality that it was practically made for a karaoke night after a few margaritas. But Get Lost? Not so much. Sure, it has mainstream appeal, there's no denying it could find a spot on a non-Disney playlist or even the radio, but I'm not exactly rushing to add it to my own personal rotation. What Moana 2 does get right though is maintaining its cultural roots. The song blends Polynesian instrumentation, giving it depth and meaning that feels authentic, which is definitely a win. The composers didn't sacrifice the movie's cultural authenticity for mainstream appeal. They incorporated Polynesian instrumentation into the music, keeping it grounded in its roots. The lyrics also carry depth. Get Lost was inspired by Barlow and Bear's discussions with the Oceanic Cultural Trust, who shared that getting lost is the pathway to finding magic. a concept that became the driving force behind Moana 2's anthem. That said, even though Get Lost does some things right, it's not the standout villain anthem we were hoping for. It's a solid track, but it's humble, but in my humble opinion, and absolutely correct opinion, it doesn't come close to matching the impact or energy of Shiny. Number 2, We're Back. The first new song of Moana 2 immediately pulls you back into the story, right from the start. It's clear this one's got the same tone as the original movie's tunes, it's catchy, re-listenable, and full of good vibes. Auliʻi Cravalho's voice as Moana is absolutely stunning here, adding so much emotion and warmth to the track. The pace is just right, setting up Moana's grand return and effortlessly bridging the gap between the two movies. The lyrics are packed with just the right amount of exposition, filling the blanks from where we left off last, but without feeling like a lecture. Plus, the mixture of Samoan and Togoloan at the beginning is a beautiful nod to Motunui's Polynesian roots, grounding the story in its cultural setting. We're also getting solos and lines from the new characters here, which subtly sets them up as key players in Moana's next adventure. It's a clever way to introduce them without it feeling forced. I think it's fair to say that We're Back is easily one of the most re-listenable songs on the entire soundtrack, and a solid feel-good track that lands on the top tier of Moana 2's musical moments. And taking the number 1 spot is Funky Crab Legs.
Funky crab legs, funky crab legs.
I'm only joking, but let's be honest, if I had my way, that banger would have absolutely made the soundtrack. The real number 1, Beyond. Beyond is Moana 2's classic Disney I Want protagonist anthem, and of course expectations were sky high for this one. Does it hit as hard as How Far I'll Go? Maybe not, but it's still a banger. Auliʻi Cravalho is a powerhouse and her voice carries the song to its full potential, giving Moana's story even more depth. It's Moana laying it all out, her dreams, her challenges, and now the responsibility of being a big sister. The song feels like a direct response to the question posed in How Far I'll Go, trying to put the two films together in a way that feels meaningful. It shares the same narrative placement and purposes as its predecessor, creating a neat connection between the movies. And I mean, it's just miles ahead of tracks like Can I Get a Chee Hoo or What Could Be Better Than This when it comes to emotional depth and complexity. Disney has submitted Beyond for Best Original Song at the 2025 Oscars alongside Can I Get a Chee Hoo, because apparently miracles can happen. I wouldn't be holding my breath or dusting off my tux just yet. That said, Beyond doesn't quite reach the top tier of Disney classics. Outside of the actual scene in Moana 2, it loses a bit of its emotional punch and doesn't have those little earworm moments that make the song stuck in your head for days. It's a solid entry, but not quite unforgettable. But that's a wrap on our Moana 2 soundtrack ranking. Did your favourite make the top spot, or did we completely throw you off with our picks? Let us know in the comments down below and we would love to hear them. Just no talking about Chee Hoo, please. We've heard enough of that already. And don't forget to smash that subscribe button for more awesome Moana content coming your way. I'm in Connor for SLUURP, and why don't you check out my video predicting Moana 3? Here's a clip. But he doesn't stop there. Nalo declares to the gods, the oceans, and to humanity that Te Fiti, the goddess of creation, has been destroyed. With her power gone, he proclaims himself ruler of the seas, the lands, and even the gods. His ultimatum is chilling. Stand with me, or face obliteration.